stand on a city transfer platform, holding the subway strap. Nobody asks your story. Nobody needs your mood. Around strangers, you can breathe faster. Around friends, you sometimes feel watched by the older version of you. You answer one message carefully. You avoid one harmless question. Why can a stranger feel easier than someone close? The platform light stays flat and ordinary. A hand grips softly. It is not always because friends are bad. It is not always because you want to be alone. Sometimes the hard part is being recognized. A friend may remember your habits, your mistakes, your old promises, and the person you said you would become. Even a simple check-in can feel like a review. That weight arrives before anyone speaks. It can happen before group chat. A small question becomes labor. On the upper deck of a passenger ferry, a paper boarding ticket bends in one hand. Other passengers stand near the rail, but nobody asks where you failed last month. You are on the same boat for a while. That is enough. Shared direction does not always need shared history. You can look at the water without becoming someone else's concern. Nobody asks if you are different now. The ticket does not ask. In a museum atrium, the visitor badge sits on your shirt like a temporary permission. It does not say who you have been at old plans, group chats, or old jokes. You stand in front of a painting and simply look. For once, no one expects the familiar version. You do not have to prove you are still yourself. The badge lets the moment stay temporary. The atrium keeps its distance. This is the first small relief. You can move without being explained. The floor arrow in the exhibition points everyone forward. You do not need to talk to be part of the flow. You just follow the same direction, pause at the same corner, and continue. No one turns your pause into a personal update. Even your slow step has permission. The arrow keeps moving. But here is the strange part. A line can feel kinder than a conversation. The stanchion belt at the exhibit entrance keeps a quiet distance between bodies. Nobody needs to guess how close is too close. The rule does the work, so you do not have to. That tiny protection can feel like rest. Distance becomes easier when it is visible. The gap stays clear. At the airport arrival rail, a luggage tag swings from a tired suitcase. People wait with different plans, different names, different reasons for being delayed. Nobody needs your full explanation. You can be tired without performing the whole story of why you are tired. You can check your phone once and put it away. There is no audience for your tiredness. The tag swings once. At passport control, the plastic tray holds a phone, keys, and a small coin. The person behind the counter checks the procedure, not your personality. That can feel oddly calm. A stranger can ask less than a friend who wants the deeper reason. The tray takes the objects. It does not take your history. That is a smaller kind of freedom. The tray slides forward. By now, the pattern has a simple name. Safe distance, not cold distance, not rejection. Safe distance means people are near enough to share space, but far enough to leave your private weight alone. Strangers feel easier because they ask for less. They do not need the password to your past. This is why the strap matters. The label is ordinary. On a public library reading balcony, a shelf marker rests between quiet rows. You notice the clean gap between chairs as you sit down, and nobody turns your silence into a message. In that kind of room, not talking does not become a problem. It is just the normal way people share the air. The shelf marker keeps attention practical and calm. The balcony stays calm. In a courthouse waiting hall, a numbered storage tag hangs from a small storage key. For a short time, you exist as a number in a line. That sounds impersonal, but it can protect you. Nobody asks you to explain your family, your work, or your mood. The number is narrow, and that narrowness is gentle. You do not need a personal headline. The key stays small. At the aquarium tunnel, a wristband circles a visitor's arm. Everyone looks upward at the same moving water. You do not have to choose the correct reaction. You do not have to laugh at the right time. You can be quiet without disappointing anyone. The glass gives everyone something else to look at. The wristband makes you simply another visitor. The water keeps moving, and this is where it changes. Close people often care more, but caring can come with memory. They remember what you used to say. They notice when your energy drops. They may mean well, yet their concern can turn into a small room you cannot leave. You become an answer they keep checking. That is when care starts feeling like pressure. The room feels smaller. In the planetarium queue, the turnstile arm lets one person pass at a time. It opens, then stops. The boundary is simple. That is why some brief public contact feels easy. You know when it begins. You know when it ends. No one follows you afterward. The gate never asks for emotional access. Clear exits make brief contact less tiring. The arm returns slowly. At an outdoor flower market, a bundle of newspapers sits near the path. Someone glances at your face, then looks away. The moment ends before it becomes a story. With friends, one small look can be remembered later. With strangers, it usually disappears. A short look stays short, and that can feel merciful. Nothing needs to be explained tomorrow. The paper bundle waits. The sharper truth is this. Sometimes you are not avoiding people. You are avoiding being fixed in place. A friend can meet the current you and still speak to the older you. A stranger meets only what is visible today, and that can feel lighter. No one compares you to last year's version. Today's face is allowed to be enough. The old frame loosens. In the City Archive reading hall, an anonymous survey card waits beside a pencil. Your hand pauses before the first box. You can say what you really thought, then leave the card behind. The relief is not hiding. The relief is not being held afterward. The answer belongs to the moment, not to your identity. The pencil feels light for that reason. The first mark matters. A paused hand, a pencil, and one honest mark. Nothing dramatic happens, but the body softens because the answer will not become a future conversation. Safe distance becomes a place where truth can come out. It is privacy without having to disappear. The pencil mark protects the sentence after it leaves you. The mark stays private. At the exhibition cloakroom, a numbered claim tag rests in your palm. You leave a bag behind before entering the room. Sometimes friends make you carry your role with you. The responsible one, the funny one, the strong one. Among strangers, the role can sit down. You are still present, but less assigned. No one asks you to keep performing it. The claim tag closes quietly. The harder part comes later. If strangers feel easier for too long, it may reveal something useful. Not that friends are wrong, not that closeness is unsafe. It may mean your close life has too many roles and too little room to arrive as you are. Closeness needs somewhere to store effort. The issue is not people. It is load. The load needs limits. On the ferry deck, the rail cuts a clean line across the open air. People share the same wind, then separate at the dock. Nobody demands a report. That kind of contact is small, but it teaches something. Connection does not always need possession. Sometimes it is enough to travel beside someone. Then the crossing ends cleanly. The dock grows nearer. Back in the museum atrium, a bench faces a wide wall. You sit near other visitors without joining them. There is no group mood to manage. No one checks whether you are fun enough, grateful enough, changed enough, or okay enough. The silence stays simple. You are seen but not collected. The bench does not ask for biography. The wall stays wide. At the airport arrival rail, a suitcase wheel stops beside your shoe. The person next to you looks past you for someone else. You are not the center of their reading. That can be a relief. For a moment, you are allowed to be unfinished. No one turns your face into evidence. That small misreading never begins. The wheel stops once. In the library, an open book rests under soft balcony light. The room does not reward you for explaining yourself. It only asks you to keep the peace. That is a lower demand than many relationships. It is not deeper, but it is lighter. Safe distance asks little, and that is why it works. Quiet order replaces emotional translation. The page remains open. At the archive, the survey drop box waits near the exit. You slide the card in and walk away. Nobody calls your name. Nobody asks what you meant. This is not a full life. But it shows why anonymity can feel like air when identity feels crowded. Some truths need a place that does not follow you home. The box gives the feeling an ending. The exit stays close. The subway strap appears again on the transfer platform. You hold it for 2 stops, then let go. That is the boundary. Strangers feel easier when closeness has become performance. It is not giving up on people. It is remembering what it feels like to exist without a role. A relationship feels safer when effort has somewhere to rest. You let go before anyone names you. The strap returns quietly.